Usually this would be spoiler free, and it's gonna stay that way. But I have to start off by saying Disney could never. You're familiar with that voice. It is J Star, of course.
What up?
Joining me to review Spider Man Across the Spider Verse.
Of course.
After reuniting with Gwen Stacy, Brooklyn's full time friendly neighborhood Spider Man is catapulted across the multiverse where he encounters a team of spider people charged with protecting its very existence. However, when the heroes clash on how to handle a new threat, Miles finds himself pitted against the other spiders. He must soon redefine what it means to be a hero so he can save the people he loves the most. Allegedly. This movie is rated PG with a runtime of 2 hours and 16 minutes. But I honestly feel like all the recommendations I've made so far for reviews are optional because I'd rather you go see this as opposed to anything else I recommended earlier this year. Because
Word.
yeah, everything else just seems like that wasn't even worth it.
Like, yeah, I'm glad I went to go see this.
Oh, for sure.
I'm
For
glad
sure.
because, like, the rest of the year that just passed, I went in with mid to low expectations, and I was like,
Yeah.
and I'm pleasantly surprised.
For sure. I feel like I didn't even have expectations. Like, I wasn't thinking like, "Oh, this is gonna suck," because
Yeah,
the
yeah, I
first one was
didn't. Yeah, the
good.
first one was amazing, so I was like, nah, it's not gonna suck. But I
So,
was like, what could we do?
it was just, like, balanced expectations, I'll say, because the promo for this was super lackluster. But,
That's good, and in a good way.
in a good way, because I feel like well, we'll get to that part later, but either way, I'm definitely glad I went to go see this in the theaters.
Yeah, that's just something everyone should do.
So starting off, we're gonna get right into performances. Very solid voice work from the cast. To name a few, of course, we have Shamik Moore as Miles. Very good. Per usual. He just fits into the damn role. It's like he's not even trying. And I don't want to say the role was made for him, even though when they did the test animations, they were using his test voice entry. But either way, very good pick for him. Haley Stenfeld, yes, Kate Bishop plays Gwen Stacy. Brian Tyree Henry is Jefferson Davis, of course. Lauren Velez as Rio Morales, yes. Nina Moreno, because why not? It just makes sense. Like whoever did the casting and making sure it like just worked, it works. Jason Schwartzman did a great job as Spot. Daniel Kaluuya as Spider Punk, also very nice. And Oscar Isaac is Spider-Man 2099. I could keep going, but
Where everybody did their thing.
absolutely. And I like that we're familiar with the talent, but they don't lean on it being an ensemble or like a heavily star-studded cast. And everyone just carries their parts well and it fits without any one character feeling forced or forgotten, I'll say.
I like the fact that I went so late. I went like to our last showing,
Mhm.
and I was tired. I was so tired, and I woke the since the jump of the movie, I was up. You know, usually like
That's
if I
good.
go that late, I'm
Yeah, you're
yawning.
dozing.
I'm trying to like stay awake. Man, I did nothing. I didn't even touch my popcorn. I was so in.
That's a fact. Like, I hope they continue using that strategy because it was just interesting. It wasn't. I don't want to say there was never a dull moment, but it did keep you.
Yeah.
Let me see the audio. Well, this didn't happen at my theater. I don't know if this happened at yours, but people were reporting unbalanced audio.
No, mine was fine.
Apparently,
Good audio where I was at.
yeah, the Alamo did they thing too. I'm just like, what the hell was y'all doing? But yeah. Apparently, they had like an issue where the dialogue and effects were kind of fighting to be heard. So
Mm.
I hadn't experienced that, but if you did, it's
No,
worth
sorry for
taking
you.
note.
We try it
Yeah,
again. Try
pick
again.
another theater,
Yeah.
you
Because
bums.
I went to Cinemark. They were fine. Wish I would
Yeah,
have went to AMC, but yeah, I think, I went to Cinemark.
that's crazy. And then going along with the audio itself, the score is really dope. The sound selection was on point, and I like that they didn't shy away from the urban music selection skills, if
Word.
you will. And Metro Boomin pretty much did the soundtrack, so yeah, he did that. And it fit, again, it just went well. It didn't feel like, "Oh, this song don't even go with the movie, like, what is this?"
Everything worked.
Crazy. Now for the visuals. It's Sony. Not that I was expecting it to blow me away, but at this point, I trust Sony. So
They like to
again,
show off.
that's a fact, and Disney can never. I'm gonna just keep saying that because they can't. They haven't.
They they
It's
gotta holla at Sony to do that.
terrible. At this point, we've been into the Spider Verse, and we'll be exploring across the Spider Verse, and next going beyond the Spider Verse next year. Yay!
Woo.
I feel like if you didn't watch Into the Spider Verse, you'd be able to pick up the concept of the movie, which is a
Yeah.
testament of its great writing. However, you should see the first movie because it is also a great movie.
Well, it goes hand in hand. Why would you go see part two and not see the part one?
Man, you know some kids. I didn't like Spider-Man. I like Batman more. Well, for those weird children,
Yeah.
but you know,
I blame the parents.
nothing against Batman because I like Batman too.
Yeah, I
But I'm
like
just
Batman.
saying, some people that feel like either if they are drugged to the movies, I got to go see this because the kids want to see it or whatever. You're not gonna feel lost, is what I'm trying to say.
Yeah, yeah, I get it. I get it.
They keep the consistency just by the key points being prominent, and they don't give you those weird moments of overdoing a recap that dragged the story. There were
Yeah.
some, but it wasn't a "here we go again" type of moment. It just flowed with the story.
Yeah, it made sense where they put it in. Like, all right, oh yeah, you did need that little quick callback.
Yeah. So the pacing, of course, with a runtime of 2 hours and 15
It
minutes,
didn't
it
even
is
feel
long.
it didn't even feel like that. I'm not even gonna lie.
Exactly. Very long, but I didn't mind it at all. I wasn't tripping. Because usually, if it's something like around that 2 hour mark, like you, I will start getting sleepy toward the end, middle point where it's just like, all right, where are we going with this? But
Yeah.
that did not happen. If I'm being very, very nitpicky, there were some moments that did drag a bit, but with editing, they could have easily chopped it down about 15 minutes.
Hmm.
But that's just me being overly nitpicky. I didn't mind. The film works across all ages, so I still feel like it will hold your attention despite that.
Yeah, definitely would grab you because it was every character in there had their own thing. You didn't need a backstory for all of them to know who they are, even
Yeah,
if you didn't know who they are, because of the way they
eh,
wrote it.
very true. And with the introduction of like a lot of the different spider people, it's like,
I didn't know how that was gonna work.
based off of the synopsis, and if you haven't seen it yet, obviously, you would think like, yo, I'm gonna be overwhelmed with all this character development.
Hmm.
Nah,
Nah,
they did a very good job.
because I was definitely like, how is this gonna work? Oh man, this is
Right.
so bad. I was like, because the comics was a lot. I was like, oh man,
Yep,
how are you gonna fit that in this? But
that's a fact.
hey, it
They did it.
worked.
They pulled it off because the writers was like, "We're gonna make this happen," and they did it.
That's why you need to
This
pay
is a
them.
visual.
Oh, never mind.
This is like a side note. Well, it is kind of visual, I think. Okay, this is a message for Nike, and if you don't want a potential spoiler, fast forward about 30 seconds starting now. And if you didn't fast forward, oh well, you about to get this spoiler. So, the next chapter ones that they dropped, they were cool, whatever. Eh, how they integrated the Spider-Verse illustration and pattern into the colorway. That was cute. But I have a request. Like Nike's listening to me right now. So Earth 42's Prowler shoes, can we make those happen?
Mm,
Cuz those looked bad in comparison to
let me
I
get
understand you
those.
dropping the ones, of course, yeah, whatever. You want to get the classic colorway for Miles. That's fine. That's fine. But Prowler shoes were better, period.
Word, like,
And
whoa.
that is probably the only Jordan I would buy in my life. If it's done right, of course. But
Would they
I don't
fumble
even mess
that?
with Jordans like that. We all know this. But when I saw those come on the screen, I was like, wait, what? It's like, can somebody rewind, please? And then if they did it with, like, the technology, even though they don't need to, they could use certain textures to mimic that, like, reflective type of deal.
Yeah, they
Listen,
definitely could.
Nike, talk to me. There's different ways you can pull this off, and you should because those looked way better than Miles' shoes, and I'm sorry, they
No,
did.
no, don't be sorry. I
They
I love
did.
Jordans.
I was like, "Wait, what?" I was like, "Hold on a second. Can we Sim go back down? We don't care about his face." Like, that's great. Oh, since
They
we're in
really
shout out
did.
mode, this is over 30 seconds. So if you are coming back 30 seconds later, hello, surprise, we're still here. More
Word.
spoilers. Give me about like 30 more seconds or 15, whatever. But just keep fast forwarding until you hear me say end of spoilers.
Mhm.
So, super shout out to Donald Glover, of course. He finally got to play in real life Prowler. He got it
Yeah.
done, even though he was jailed down a little bit.
But he was
But he
that
wasn't.
was a surprise. I was like,
Yo, he
"Whoa.
wasn't a deleted scene this time. I was just
What?"
like, "Wait, what?" They gave him lines too? I was like, "Alright, bet." Man had a suit and everything, so
Slid my
I
man
don't know
in
what
there.
Sony has in their hands or if they're trying to force Marvel to, "Hey, hey, nudge, nudge, make it happen. Let's get it done." He was already in, um why am I forgetting? He was already in Peter Parker's technically as Miles's uncle. He's already in there, so make it
Somewhere there.
happen.
Would that make him the universe that we are in?
I
I
believe so,
believe so.
yeah.
That'd
He would
be
be.
the MCU universe, yes. So, hmm.
Might as well. I mean, we're all in mixed up universes anyway, based on whatever the hell happens next, because we don't know
Yeah,
yet.
we don't know yet. That's
Yay.
why I said it the way I did. I was like, is it our universe or
All
we
right,
don't
end
know?
scene. End of spoilers. So if you made it here, we're not spoiling anything anymore again, but there was a
Mm-mm.
couple things we had to get off our chest. But back to visuals. The way they also coalesce the CGI with animation and real life characters. What? Why didn't it look like it was just spliced so well? Usually, you know how corny it looks when they put real life characters with animations and they're talking and it just looks
It just
fake all
doesn't
around.
fit.
Hi, I'm talking to a puppet right now. It just looks goofy.
Nah. It was so good that you couldn't tell, like, cause it hit that moment in your brain where it activates, whereas when you're watching a movie, you
Mhm.
think you're in a dream. So the fact
Yeah.
that you had your a real life character next to an animated character and it fits so well, like as if you
Scaling, colors.
nothing was out of place. It didn't seem too bright, it didn't seem too dark in areas, it just fit perfectly, like it belonged
Yeah,
there, and it's
they did a
amazing that
great
they did
job.
that, and that's hard to pull off, and I want more people to take a note on that one.
Should they take note or should they just leave it to Sony to do that?
Well, either or, because you gotta holler at Sony anyway, because don't they
Hey,
make
listen,
the
if you're
things?
not making a movie with Illumination or Sony at this point, what are you doing?
Yeah, what are you doing? Like, you're doing yourself a
Because
disservice.
you literally are. Because I have not been impressed with any other movies like this. It's crazy. So for the box office, Across the Spider-Verse had a budget of about 100 million, which was 10 million more than Into the Spider-Verse had. It made 208 million worldwide. That breaks down to about 120.5 million domestically, which is the second biggest opening this year behind Super Mario. And it grossed over triple the amount of Enter the Spider Verse's opening weekend, which is wild. The summer is still young, but I feel like with the lack of promotion that this had and the rave reviews that it is getting,
Hmm?
there's just going to be more success in the future for this for sure.
Yeah, yeah. It's like, they did everything I've asked for, they listened. You wanna know
Did you write them a
that's
letter?
funny. That it took a movie that had almost nothing to do with what I've been paying attention to as far as, like, the entire MCU.
Hmm.
They stuck the landing with the jokes, they didn't overdo anything, they
Yeah.
included people that I was not expecting, and they didn't overstay their welcome or understay it. They
Yes.
all got a decent amount, like, some of the main characters got a decent amount of backstory and progression, was nice, and no post-credit scene.
I was gonna get to that later, but yeah, there's no mid, post, no nothing. So once the movie is over, and that's all I will say about that, get up and leave. You are free to go.
Yeah. Like, and
But low key,
granted, I stayed for like for like 5, 10 minutes out of habit,
like, well, what just happened?
out of
What just
habit.
happened?
Like, I stayed and I was like, "Wait," and then, "Wait, no, no?"
Nah, listen, I don't even play those games no more. Like, I will literally, if I don't check before I walk into the theater, I will Google it there.
Yeah, I
Like,
was
is
doing
there
it, like,
post
at,
credits for
like,
this movie?
soon as the post credits, went, I was like, "Wait,
Yeah,
what? Alright, let me look this up." And I seen that it wasn't, I was like, "Okay, let me just leave."
that's a fact. And the thing is, I think I'm gonna see it again, and
No,
that's something
I'm
I
go
never do.
I'm
Like,
going to the drive-in to go see this time.
what?
Mhm.
Like, movies these days
I'm going to
barely
it.
have replay value, let alone back to the theaters value.
Yeah, and I'm trying to see it in
Yeah,
drive-in this time.
I gotta see it again. But with all that being said, what do you rate Spider-Man Across the Spider-Verse?
Mm, mm. I would give it a solid, like, 9.5?
Oh, oh, out of 5, my bad.
Oh, out of 5?
Yeah.
A 7? Nah.
Yeah, 'cause he knows his maths. Hello?
Nah, but out of 5, I would give it a 4.5. Solid
Listen,
4 with a
I was gonna mess
4.5.
around and do that, and the point that I'm rating this a 5 out of 5.
Yeah, I wanna
I
give it a
have to do
full
it.
full marks, but I gotta, like, leave room for error because there was some mistakes.
But that's the thing, I don't wanna leave room for error because I feel like other movies that I've rated high on the scale, they delivered, but not in this fashion, and I have to give this movie its props.
Yeah. I just don't want
And
them to
it's
make it
like,
okay enough to repeat.
well,
Do
hopefully the
better.
3rd
I want
time
them to
and they
do
actually
better.
kill it with
Well,
the
no, I'm not
sequel
talking about
'cause, bruh.
for the 3rd movie. I'm talking about for
Are you
anyone
talking
that
about in
wants.
general for
Yeah,
ratings? Oh,
in
well
general,
well, but that's the thing, everybody stays in their own bucket.
because
If you don't
I can't give it full
yeah.
marks because this is a two-part movie. I need to see the other part.
Nah, I gotta give this 5. Like,
Nah,
I
this
like the first one too, but damn,
that
I
other
have to
5 is
do it.
sitting that other point 5 is sitting for the beyond.
But the thing is, it's already done. They're just in editing right
Yeah,
now.
so I'm waiting
So,
because it's all I'm viewing it as all one movie.
yeah. So we gotta wait a year to get his full score for the series, but
Mhm.
honestly, yeah, I might go as far as saying this is, the movie of the year,
Oh, yeah, I'm with
and
you.
we're halfway. We are
And we're halfway.
halfway.
Movie of the year, I'm with
It's
you.
definitely gonna grab all the awards like the predecessor, so I'm not even worried about that.
Mm.
But the overall production and the trust that Columbia and Sony put into this was
Yeah.
definitely felt. And to me, that means a lot because you know how they do with our content and how they tend to
Mm,
treat it,
word.
even if our stories are imperative to the bigger picture.
Because this one was kinda
Again,
personal to
one
moi.
last time, Disney could never.
This was all for me. That's how I felt.
For
I
real.
was like, "He's Puerto Rican, black, and he's from Brooklyn. This is about me. This is about
And
me."
they're not putting on too much. Like they're not, oh
Right.
my,
They didn't,
ooh.
like, shove it in your face.
Yes, they didn't Super Mario the accents.
Like, they did their thing for that one.
Like it just worked. And I don't even think I can rate it as best in this franchise yet, but of course, like Jay, I'm gonna wait for the third before I get into any of that. But this is probably my favorite Spider-Man iteration.
Yeah, mine's
Tom Holland, you had it for a while. You
yeah,
started
you
losing
was
me
doing
because of
good,
the
kid.
Disneyfication.
You just
But
got
bruh,
pushed out the way, son. Move
yeah,
over.
Miles Morales is it, sir.
Step
Sorry.
down with grace. Go ahead.
You still crying on top of rooftops and stuff,
Mhm.
but nah, bruh. like, like I've never felt like that after watching one of his compared to this, and this is animated, which is wild. So,
'Cause he ain't like, he's not up, Mr. Stark's place, he's gonna do his own thing.
all right, you gonna have to come with it next one, sir.
Mhm.
Also, just be prepared for all the Easter eggs and references that you may not
Oh, they come
or
fast, they come
will
fast.
catch, and they're very quick, so you're not gonna catch all of them. But that's what makes these movies more fun. But yeah, just keep your eyes open.
Owning a Blu-ray would be nice.
That's a fact. I cannot wait till next year. Like, can we just fast
Yeah,
forward?
can we just skip it, I don't we don't need the rest of the year, you know?
Like, what else do they have going for them right
That
now?
I'm alright with it. We can skip it.
Ugh. But be sure to connect with us via Spotify using the poll and Q&A sections, leaving your thoughts about Spider-Man across the Spider-Verse. You can also do so on Instagram, Twitter, YouTube, or verbalvibemode.com, or even leave a voicemail using Anchor if you prefer. Per usual, all links are in the description box. Peace.
Peace.